wonderful, successful ladies who are here. I'm privileged to talk to. We are a sister, a wife, a mother, a coach, a friend, a leader. Women, as you know, are inherently powerful and born to be limitless. So beautifully all balanced diverse roles, women are strongest pillars of society, workplace, economy, and family. At Kotak Life, we are very grateful and acknowledge the invaluable contribution that women have in shaping up our business. We promise Careers for Life to all, which talks about four pillars of prime support for career growth. They are: we offer you more than a job, we bring out the best in you, success is growing together, and we celebrate life. And when we talk about celebrating life and we talking about offering you more than a job, how can we not have something dedicated to our wonderful women? So we introduce here to you Swabhiman for Life, a special platform that promises to nurture, protect, empower, and support women via various engaging sessions. It signifies self reliance, self request, and will to win. With this, I would like to pick up just four lines from a beautiful poetry written on Swabhiman, and I will be reading that. Please allow me for that. स्वाभिमान से सौदा करना जिसे कभी स्वीकार नहीं, स्वाभिमान से सौदा करना जिसे कभी स्वीकार नहीं, गैरों के उपकार में पलना सीखा जिसने कार्य नहीं, मान और सम्मान वर गरिमा तोड़ नहीं पाती है ये, 4 दशक तक आकर के जब पंख नहीं चल पाते हैं ये, स्वाभिमान से सौदा करना जिसे कभी स्वीकार नहीं, गैरों के उपकार में पलना सीखा जिसने कार्य नहीं. So with this note, let's commence with our first session for Swabhiman for Life on career growth, and we have our eminent panelists, Ms. Kirti Patil, Ms. Jayashree Singh, Ms. Anjana, Ms. Kalparupa Datta, Ms. Bhavna Verma, Ms. Kishori, and Nandini Gupta. I take a great pleasure in welcoming all of you for this session to share, to live, and to experience this community together. With this, I request the chairperson of this community, Mrs. Kirti Patil, to express about her career story, give glimpse of her success and growth, and share her insights on this. Thank you, Ms. Kirti.
So I'm Kirti Patil. I have been working with Kotak Life for 15 years, and I'm extremely happy and extremely privileged to chair this community. I'll quickly take you through my journey, and I say it is a journey because it is not yet over. Okay, and I need to talk about my career journey, but I would take a step back and talk about our the times when we were young kids. Okay, I have a brother. He's a doctor, and I'm an engineer. And when I picked up this profession, my father said, and at that time there were very few engineering colleges, right? So my father said, "See, Kirti, there are very limited seats. You have been lucky enough to get admitted into an engineering college. I will permit you to become an engineer only if you give me one promise that you will continue to use whatever you have learned throughout your life. You will not give up, okay?" And that still remains with me, okay? So he did not make any distinction between my brother and me, and he said that if you have chosen to take up this path, then you have to continue on this journey. So not using my education, not working was never really an option for me. I did my engineering, then I did my MBA, and I joined, of course, in a technology unit of a manufacturing company. And this happened 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I mean, things were different, definitely different for a working woman. It was a challenge in itself, okay. But I had good support from my parents and my family. But IT, there were very few women. Manufacturing, there were even fewer women. But I think I learned to work in a predominantly male dominated work environment from that day onwards, and that has helped me in my journey. Then my daughter was born, okay, and I took a little bit of a I wouldn't say a break, but I went slow in my career because at that time both my husband and me, we thought that perhaps it is better for me to go slow on my career than he doing that. I went a little slow for 4 or 5 years maybe, but I never quit my job. Then my daughter was 3 4 years old. I changed my job and I joined an international organization, and for 4 5 years, I from when she was 3 years old till not three, she was 5 years old till she was 10 years old. I traveled extensively internationally. Okay, excellent support I got from my husband. We would all, and he was also used to travel a lot. Okay, so I learned the art of planning because of the constraints in which I was working then. Okay, I wanted to travel, he had to travel, we had a daughter to take care of. So we would always adjust our schedules. I would always travel over weekends. I sacrificed all my weekends for my travel because I didn't want to spend that time, in that country. And then I joined Kotak 15 years ago. I currently head technology here, and it has really been a wonderful journey for me. There have been difficulties, constraints throughout, but I think uh, uh, it is very satisfying when you have overcome a challenge. So if it is very easy, then I don't think that I would have liked to live that kind of a journey. A little bit about Kotak and about this community. So Kotak has been an equal opportunity employer, and I can say that because otherwise I wouldn't have been where I am today. This initiative we have recently taken because we believe that we need to actually empower and engage with more and more women and give opportunities to more and more women to take up leadership roles. Thank you to the organization for having taken this opportunity, because I when I was doing my MBA, I was asked a question, and I was competing for the post of a manager, okay, the leading manager or the woman manager as they call it. And I was asked a question, who do you think will become a better manager, a man or a woman? And I said, it doesn't matter whether the person is a man or a woman. It all depends on the qualities the person carries. And so if that is the case, and if we don't give opportunities to 50% of mankind, I think we are not doing justice to them and to us. So thanks to Kotak, and over to you, Shruti.
Thank you so much for telling us such an inspiring story. And I now invite all the panelists to introduce themselves one by one. And let's see, as in, let's take few minutes to know each one of us much more better.
I am Kishori Dhuri. I am an associate member of Institute of Actuaries of India. I started my career with public sector and I joined there as an actuarial apprentice. Subsequently, when the private insurers, the field was open for private insurers, I joined a private insurance firm. I joined Kotak Life Insurance around 13 years back. So I'm with KLI for more than 13 years. And I am looking after product pricing and product development here. And it has been very satisfying job as because I feel the creativity here. And I'm free to do what I think is right. That's another thing. Another is I'm married, on personal front, I'm married to Shailesh and we have a daughter, Sharvin. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Nandini Gupta, and I have been with the insurance industry now for close to 16 years, of which this is the 10th year with Kotak Life, and it's been a very interesting journey because both professionally and personally, it's a growth for me. From being married to becoming a mom, it happened when I was working with Kotak Life, and it's been really satisfying to work in the firm. What I do here, I'm leading the product development team here, and the most beautiful part of working here is the trust the company has on each of us, irrespective of the gender or the age. So that is very motivating. Like I said, I'm a mother, so my daughter is 3 years old.
I'm Jayashree Singh. I am actually a pharmacy graduate by education, pharmacy graduate, and a B Pharm MBA. I started my career with pharma industry. I was there for at least 3 years, way back in 1999. I was one of the luckiest to join private insurance sector when it was just opening. So I joined private insurance sector in 2000, and with Kotak, I'm working with Kotak since 2004. So Kotak is a place where I have nurtured my dream, and that dream has come true. When I joined the industry, I had wanted to become head of underwriting and claims, and here is where I have got this opportunity. So I am feeling that this is the best opportunity that I have had with Kotak. Yeah, I'm with Kotak since 2004, so this is the best thing to be here. I'm married to Avnish, and I have a son who is 10-year old.
Hi everyone, I'm Bhavna Verma. I am presently head of actuarial reporting at Kotak Life Insurance, and I have been with Kotak Life for a little less than 5 years. By profession, I'm a qualified actuary, fellow of the Institute of Actuaries of India, with a total career span of about 14 years. Prior to Kotak, I worked with multinational consulting firms again in the actuarial space. And without saying much else, I will just say that I joined Kotak in a responsible position when I had a 1 year old, and I changed cities. So I think that in itself speaks a lot about gender neutrality, etc. Uh, so now I mean I'm mother to a 6 year old, so a lot of my time outside of work is spent with family. And on the personal front, I enjoy writing, I enjoy dancing, and I enjoy traveling. And luckily, I get some time to do all of this. Not these days, but yes, otherwise.
I am from Kolkata. I was a part of a huge joint family. We have about 16, 17 people living there at one point in time. I have, while growing up, this gender discrimination and stuff like thing was always I was really curious about it because thankfully I have never had to face it myself. Okay. And as Kirti said, not using my education or not working was never an option. That was never given to me as an option. I was never brought up thinking that I had an option where I didn't use this. So that's how it has been. And also, though we have been a part of such a big family, what was always instilled in us was to have an opinion. That the right to disagree, agree to disagree is something that I have learned, being a part of the joint family. And probably a lot of team management that I do today, or a conflict management that I do today, is completely basis my first-hand experience of how it got handled while handling a big family of 16, by probably the eldest in the family. I've just learned by observing. That's been a big takeaway. I moved to Bombay 20 years back after doing my graduation, and that's been my total work experience. Also, I started my career with a KPO and international KPO, and from there I moved to a public sector setup completely, where I worked for 4 years. Then I moved back to the private sector to a telecom company, which I was there for another 2 years, 2.5 years. And now for the last 4 years, I've been a part of Kotak Life Insurance. When I joined this place, I didn't know that, Kotak becomes an addiction for you. And as Kirti said, it's very challenging, but if it is not challenging, it's not fun. But Kotak offers you so much of empowerment, so much of freedom to do what you want to do, to take on additional responsibilities, roles, and giving you the free hand to do it your way. It has been an absolute pleasure being a part of this company. And again, very relevant to what we are discussing today, this has been a company where even for a minute I have never faced that this is a company which doesn't provide equal opportunity. It has always been basis merit and your capability and your potential, irrespective of the gender.
So first thing is that, Kalpa, what was that, now that you have shared that you come from a joint family, and where empowerment was always there and sharing your point of view was part of you. So what was the major turning point in your career?
major points. Right after college, I started with an international KPO. So, and that's when, this KPOs were booming, and, it was a different kind of culture altogether. So 6-7 months into it, then I got through one of the banking examination, and I joined a big public sector setup. Okay. And that was when I joined in, I had already quit my job and I joined in. And I remember the first day when I went and I was introduced to my boss, he actually peeped, from behind the files, how we see in the, movies, and then those on TVs. Okay. It was a completely different culture, and I did not think that I could survive that culture, or I could survive that entire process for for too long, and I was young. I was probably very restless at that point in time. And I think that's when I had my first boss who sat me down, and he said that, the first point if you want to make a career is to be patient, learn from nothing goes waste, everything, even if you know how to turn the file and to correct, numbers manually, that will eventually also give you some benefit. Okay. I stuck around with that place for 4 years, because that was a time when we used to call it the computerization. We moved from manual files to actually getting the whole setup on systems and automation and so on and so forth. That's what taught me patience. That's what taught me detailing. That's what taught me operations. Okay. And it was culturally a very different kind of a setup. And because I had just moved from Calcutta, I also had a huge language barrier, because a lot of these conversations, formal and informal, would happen in Marathi. To work with people, patience, stakeholder management, working with people was what I learned from there. That was one of the biggest learning and turning point of my life. The second was when I was working with my the telecom company. I had joined at a certain role, and I was doing the role, and I would finish what I would be doing in the first 2 or 3 hours of my, of the day. And then, there was this huge project which was getting implemented pan India under the collections team. Okay. And I could feel that there was a lot of buzz and lot of work happening around it. So after, I think, 2 weeks of really thinking and rethinking, I remember to gather up the courage and to walk up to the general manager in the company who was heading the project, and asking him that if he can take me as a part of the project over and above the role that I was doing. I remember him staring at me for 2 minutes, and he said, okay, join from tomorrow. You will do this. Okay. 2 years. Okay. I had no idea of project management. I had no idea of collections. I had no idea of handling pan India projects. Two things that happened was, while every morning, okay, he would spend time, which started off from 1 hour in the morning, when eventually over a period of time, he would tell me what is to be done, how it's to be done. Slowly over time, it changed to what he needed done, and then eventually it would just be a review of what I was doing. Okay. There I learned two things. It was again very a turning point for me, that you need to ask for what you want. Okay. Otherwise people will not know. And second is to invest in your team. When you invest in your team now, you reap the benefits out of it eventually. And until and unless you are secured about your team member, you're confident about your team member, until and unless you want them to grow, you will eventually never grow. And third has been in Kotak, a very informal chat that I was having with my first boss here, Jyoti Iyengar. And I think we discussed it, touched upon it at one point in time. We're saying, do we need a job or do we need a career? We need to really differentiate, and it's a choice that you make. There is no right or there is no wrong.
It's been a very interesting journey career-wise, spanning over 22 years. By qualification, I'm a nutritionist.
Oh, wow.
A food service management.
Now, where do you have to go?
Yeah. And the initial years, I did work in a hospital, but post which I moved to sales. I've been working with sales and marketing with FMCGs, banking segment, and insurance. My longest stint has been in insurance for the last 17 years. So in the journey, I've learned a lot, but a lot of it came from where we come from. I belong to a community called the Cougs, where women are given equal rights from day one as a community. So if there is something that a father or a man goes up to do, the spouse has to be beside them. And if there's a widow, she has every right to conduct the ceremony without, you know, any hindrance. It's a right even there. So coming from a background like that, equal opportunities for us growing up, probably that foundation and the basis, let me move into a sales field, into FMCG. And I remember, I think I was the first woman in the sales arena in an FMCG at that point of time in the entire South. So it was a novelty for everybody, I think. So I was not really looked upon. So they actually looked to see, is she able to deliver as much as any other person on the team? And yeah, that was a challenge, because I had to tell them that, yeah, I mean, whatever gender it is, if you're committed to your job, you can do it. I was lucky that, yeah, the journey has been very interesting. And I've been with Kotak for the last 11 years. I joined in 2009, and it's been a very memorable journey. And I'm hoping that I can increase my bank of memories with Kotak.
So much enjoying this conversation. Taking this ahead, Anjana, here's a question for you. So, how much does career affect family and vice versa? What's your point of view on this?
Both career and families are two sides of a coin. I was ill. I didn't fly for about 2 weeks. When I went back, the people at the airport asked me, what happened to you? I mean, we haven't seen you. The coffee day guy asked me, yeah, I mean, I missed seeing you at the end of the queue. And he would just pass my order because he knew exactly what my order is. I didn't have to go to the beginning of the queue. So, yeah, so support from everywhere. So if you balance it well and you give family the time that it requires, family also will give you the time that you want to give to your career.
If you look back at the time you had graduated, what would you tell yourself as an advice, especially as an advice to the fresh graduates, and how did you feel at that time?
So if I look back, I feel, or rather I would advise to the young ones, that try and utilize your available time, at that point of time. You may be feeling that, okay, this is a time for enjoyment or something. But if you have a dreams or goals to achieve, I would suggest them to utilize that time to try and, try to reach or work hard in those days so that you can reach your goals faster, little bit, or at least you can speed up the goals. The reason being, because in future, you don't know what the course, the life will take in future for you.
Jayashree, please tell us that what did you feel that you had made the toughest choice between your career and family, and what did you choose and why?
If you, if I have to pick up one particular moment, then I would pick up this moment that, where I was on a maternity leave for 4 months, and then I had to join back office. See, as our upbringing is, we have always been wanted to be a career after education. Your upbringing is like that. You want to continue your career. So I before maternity leave, I had already considered this option that I will continue my career. But after after you being with a child, so it is that day, that first day when you want to resume office, that is the toughest day. I mean, you have such a fight, that internal fight between you and your career and your family. I think that was the most toughest moment. I remember that day I had called my driver and I was in the car, and the entire moment the travel to office, I was thinking that how is my little one going to be managing himself. So, and but I decided I want to continue. I want to plunge into my career as a second innings, and I want to take this leap. So I decided to hang on. As days unfolded, things started falling in place and things continued. There were some, and anytime when you continue like this, there are some moments when you still fall back and you think that, that guilt moment sometimes comes, when sometimes you are not able to put time or, adjust time. But slowly, if you put your ecosystem in place, plan well, ecosystem at home and ecosystem at office well, so I think you can really strike a good balance and continue your career aspirations well. So as a family, you need support from both ends, the family as well as the place that you work. So I felt Kotak was one of that place that supported such women who really had their career aspirations. And that's why we see so many leaders here who are, I think many of them are women, mothers, and they are still continuing happily. So I can relate or narrate to one or two incidences where, this has really been a fruitful association. Like, I my father had got cancer, and I really needed to be out, and there was some important things coming up. But then, the my superiors there, they kind of helped me to manage things from home, and I continued to be with my father for such an illness. Similarly, your family also adjusts. As you're a career woman, both need to adjust to you, and you have to adjust to this ecosystem. So I will like to take one. Your family also knows that, it is your like March ends, especially in the function that I run. March ends are the special moments that you need to devote more time in office, or the Jan Feb March we call it. So your family knows that they will not plan any ceremony or outings on these occasions or these times, so that you can devote time in office and be there and manage things. I have Kotak as my another next family I look forward to, and I really have a fruitful, and it is both way a fruitful association. Thank you.
Yeah, Jayashree, I think many of us agree to this, and those who are listening to us, they will also, because this question is always there, especially in a new mother when they leave home and go to office. And thank you so much for giving this beautiful way of looking at things, and the like the family emergency you had at home and how the manager helped. So Kirti, Kirti, I would request you to now spell out three major hurdles faced by you, and how were you able to climb up the ladder in spite of these hurdles?
So thank you, Shruti, and wonderful sharing by everyone. Okay, I'm really enjoying every moment of this session.
Totally.
Hurdles, yes, like I said, it is a journey of ups and downs, right? So I think I briefly touched upon the first hurdle that I encountered, when I joined 30 years ago in a manufacturing setup, and that too in a technology unit. I was the first woman in that function, and I think first manager, a professionally qualified manager to join that firm. And always a male dominated thing, the first hurdle was that, for them to accept that a woman can be a manager, a professionally qualified one, or maybe at times maybe smarter than them. So we were having these we had joined as management trainees, right? And we had some conversations around the composition of the remuneration. We were not very clear. So a colleague of mine, a male colleague, and I, we went to the HR person, and we were discussing, and we were trying to, saying, ye nahi mila, wo nahi mila. And he said, but Mrs. Patil, they used to call me there. They said, but Mrs. Patil, why do you need it? And I said, salary is not the basis the need, it is basis the work you put in. Okay. And that was the first hurdle I faced, which is one, the gender bias, and that what Kalpa touched upon, right? You have to ask for it. Okay. You may not get everything on a platter, so you have to ask for it. The other hurdle is, it's not only about the remuneration that you have to ask, you have to ask for good work. Okay. And at least at that time I had to do that. Things have changed, but there is still scope for improvement. And I'm not talking of Kotak, I'm generally talking about everywhere, right? The other hurdle that I faced was that, the challenging task may not come to you, because there would be an assumption that she has a young daughter. Okay. So she would not want to stretch. She may want to go home early, right? That's the second hurdle. But you have to ask for work, prove it, and then you overcome that hurdle. That's the first hurdle. The second hurdle is, of course, child care facilities. Okay. When my daughter was growing up, okay, that she was born in 1993. So things were very, very different then. Okay, and not having support at home. My in-laws don't stay in Mumbai. My parents were looking after my brother's children. So that was really the second hurdle. And how does one overcome that hurdle? Okay, and this is what I tell everybody: you don't have a choice. Parents are not chosen by you, siblings are not chosen by you, but your partner, you choose your partner, right? And if you want to work, uh, and that's a choice that every woman has to make. I'm not saying everybody has to work, but if you choose to work, then when you choose your partner, you have to be very careful as to what kind of a partner you choose. So because you need support from your partner, that is the given, okay? And that is how I overcame that hurdle. Okay, I had my husband's support undoubtedly every time. In fact, when I switched jobs and I moved on to an international company that I mentioned some time back, I was worried because it entailed a lot of international travel. And I spoke to my husband, I didn't want to take up that job. And he said, please take it up. I said, but my mother can't come, your mother can't come. He said, it's your career. We can't expect help from outside. We have to figure out a way. So I'm saying childcare was one hurdle which was difficult. So we managed, to take turns and overcame that hurdle. The third hurdle, okay, which exists even today, okay, which is an external hurdle, right? It's not about the family or the employer, but my role largely needs me to talk to the external world, okay, and not everybody is evolved, okay. There would be times where you would be looked as a woman, and when I say as a woman means not I'm saying as a woman who can't think, perhaps can't take decisions, okay. And I can narrate a story here, okay. I was attending a meeting with a vendor, and it was very obvious, and there was only one person from their side, and me and my I think there were a couple of guys from that side, all men in the room, okay. And everybody knew that I am heading the function and I'm the decision maker. And the senior most person from the vendor side, he I was asking all the questions to him, and he was looking at my teammates, okay, or maybe the wall. He never looked at me. And I'm saying this is a hurdle because you can get dejected, okay. And this is especially when you're young, you can get dejected because you may believe and may think that I'm not worthy enough, okay, for an answer from him, for an acknowledgement from him. But I was not at that stage, so therefore I could say it is a hurdle. So you just have to give an assurance and reassurance to yourself that this is how it could be, okay. Everything is not going to be rosy all the time. You have to believe in yourself, okay. You have to reinvent yourself every time, keep yourself current and relevant, and only then you will be able to overcome this hurdle. uh, Another hurdle, okay. Not every time you will get an opportunity to speak up. Like Kalpa, I was also brought up in a family where opinions mattered, okay, and I was actually forced to give my opinion all the time. But you will not necessarily get that opportunity. In fact, even if you want to speak up, there may be occasions where if you're sitting in a room where corporate world is still predominantly, especially at higher levels, predominantly a male dominated thing, right? You may not get that opportunity to speak up. You may try to, but you may not. But don't give up, okay. You have to be persistent all the time. I raise my hand, okay, and I keep my hand raised, okay. Somebody will give me that opportunity. If I don't get that opportunity, then I shamelessly at the end of it will say, I'm sorry, I want to say something here. I think this is what you need to do.
Thank you, Kirti. As in the three key points, like asking for your rights, support from the family, and many of the again, like young women, they have this dilemma in their mind: how will they manage their newborn babies and the small babies? And there's like best advice like manage amongst yourself, manage within yourself, and believe in yourself. What you said, that keep yourself relevant. So, did you find any similarity or starking differences in the opinions of your social circles and colleagues in corporate about women in business and in corporate work life?
I think, well, in society, of course, there are very, very varied opinions about what is the role of women in society, etc., which is why women choose to live their lives in various different ways. But from my experience within the corporate sector, I think a lot of it is more outside it than within. I really don't remember having too many conversations either with my seniors, peers, or women who report into me about being a woman in the corporate setup versus being a man in the corporate setup. and I think that's how it should be. We are all we are all working to a certain task at hand, and that's what really, I don't think we need to, it's important whether you're a man or a woman working in an organization. In fact, I've only ever heard very positive things about, say, the senior management in Kotak, or even at my previous employers, about why it's important to, and it'll be more effective to have more women in the workforce. So yeah, I think most of the conversation is centered outside, where people have not seen the other side of the coin, and married into a family of working women. So throughout my formative years, I have only seen working women who have also led very wholesome family lives, or what you would say, who've experienced everything, had good family lives, had children, and their children wouldn't have it any other way, like Kirti said. So it was never really a decision point for me. Personally, I think at the end of the day, whatever choice you make as a woman or as an individual, ultimately the person you're accountable to is the person in the mirror.
Would you advise devising a plan and a defining milestone is a good approach, or going with the flow for reaching your career height? Which would you suggest and which would you offer?
The right approach is a mix of both. You do need to have a milestone in mind, because no journey is possible without a destination in sight. So you need to have your milestones defined throughout, so that you know where you are headed for. But you can't get too hung up upon them. So you have to let life flow as it does. So depending on how your career is going, how your family life is going, you have to adjust to these things, because these are all dynamic. You can't predict anything, so you have to flow with it. So it's important to have a mix of both, because you can't just fix it have a fixated approach. So, and that's how I think my life has been. While I also went a little slow, because I think I could relate so much with Jayashree and Kirti ma'am, about the choices you have to make, and the every decision when you have to walk out of the house with a young kid at home. So it's a constant choice that you're making between your career and your family life. So there are goals in mind, so you strive for it, make the best of whatever you have, and you have to be happy and at peace with yourself, whether you are spending time with your kid or whether you are at office or working. You have to be at peace with yourself. So that is the objective you need to work to.
To whom you will attribute your success?
uh, Large part of it to myself, okay, and I am proud of it, and therefore I relate with the Swabhiman hashtag, okay. Of course, it would not have been possible by myself, okay. So the team, okay, when I say the team, it is the team at work, wherever I've worked, okay. Without the team support, I mean, it is not possible to succeed. Team at home, okay. Team at home, which is of course husband, children, parents, in-laws, also the support system at home, your maids, your whoever, right? Large part of it is to them. Second one, throughout the journey, okay. I mean, you might have got one single line of advice from them, but that remains with you, right? I mean, when I say superiors, need not be your immediate boss, but yes, superiors, peers, okay. A lot of it is put to them, and the education. But I think it is really the passion, okay. If you don't have the passion, then I don't think you can achieve anything. But yes, it is largely the support that you get, and what you do with that support, I think, defines uh, where you are.
And maybe the way we grow up, we always say it to someone else, and because of them I'm here. But then that's such an empowering thing, that to say that I'm attributing my success to myself. Jayashree, how are you making it a point to stay relevant in today's time?
Okay, so see, we have to really think differently to be relevant in today's time. I'm spending a lot of time to understand these new developments and the direction in which things are moving. The profile, skills, and the interest of the customers has changed. Internet of Things has completely changed. The way we deal with things. So, it's a conscious effort to spend more integrated time in this digital world to understand and understand the meaning of it. So there are many ways that you can do it. Like, you to stay connected with the latest, you have to be abreast with the industry news. What is happening in the industry news? How relevant it is for your day-to-day practice, or your day-to-day work, or your day-to-day actions, through forums, aggregators, online information, or to know the another way to look at it is to know your competitors, how successful they are and in what ways successful they are, to understand that how they are doing things differently, what has made them to do things differently, what has gone into this. So that also is one aspect to stay connected and relevant. Not only the Facebooks, Twitters, but there are many other areas that has come up now to stay connected with the customers, and it allows you to know the relevant is like how the customer concerns are there, or what is their ask, or what type. Even this is a platform, they even can praise you, or they even can talk about it, or talk about what is relevant. I mean, it is an open forum, where you get to know the goods as well as bads as well. So you should be prepared to take up the bads, improvise on it, and get started, or move and take some learnings out of it. We all know, being working in an corporate sector, that there are many credit rating bureaus which rate the industries, which where the our we also are dealing in financial sector, so our customers also are a part of this financial transactions. So we introduce utilizing these bureaus for our clients. Instead of asking for financials, we use bureaus for financials. And in this lockdown situation, this really helped us that we can do away with a lot of paperwork or financials of the clients. Then the other relevant thing which helped us, because we took a leap to get this done much earlier, that we moved to digital database, like our entire proposal form, to our the processing that we do, the medicals, the financials, as the company, is all in a digital mode. So there is no paper anywhere. So because of this unfortunate situation, we could really operate with the help of IT. We just got home and we started working the very next day.
Did you come across any situation of gender biasness ever in your career life?
Fortunately, I have never really had to face it, throughout my career at any point in time. I've always worked for employers. I have always worked for companies who were very equal in their opportunities to both the genders. Okay, we never really had a conversation around it or felt the need to have a conversation around it. In fact, a lot of time, I think somebody mentioned, the bias has never been around the potential of a lady employee or a lady prospect or this. But we have always said that they are more productive, they're more efficient, they're better multitasker, they're better people managers. But I will still point out something, that I have come across people, who probably show that bias very unconsciously. They're not, it's more out of a habit.
Mhm.
And those are very in matters of administrative things, like maybe recruit boys for the evening shift, okay, or maybe not, let's have boys for this recruitment drive, or for that matter, that you need to send somebody out for a deputation to another city, for with a partner with another branch, some kind of training. And it's not that you're sending, you end up often sending boys, men, or male employees instead of female, because logistically, administratively, it becomes easier. Or for that matter, the kind of questions probably female candidates get asked during interviews, so probably those kind of personal questions you would never ask a male candidate, right? But what I was trying to point out here is that I have had instances where I have seen people do those kind of things. While they do not have any bad intent behind it, they do it out of habit. And if you notice something like that, it is important to point it out to them. It's important to take a stand there. Out of 10 times, if you keep doing this to the right people, okay, at least 7 of them take an effort. They become more aware of it. They become a little more careful about it. They understand where you're coming from. And I know that there is still a gap of the 3 which is still prevalent there, but at least you're taking one step and trying to bridge the gap.
Bhavna, did you feel any exclusion from informal networks of communication because of your gender ever? The informal communication which is happening in office or any kind of
A
work.
great point. Okay, so I think from the prism of the nature of my work and the fact that the core teams I've worked in have mostly been very gender balanced, young teams, gender balanced, I would say largely no. Having said that, I think there can be, like Kalpa said, some subconscious biases in various forms. It could be gender, it could be age, it could be community. There could be multiple subconscious biases that people may have. So I wouldn't say that deliberately gender. Again, that someone might have an alternative view there. In my experience, largely no. Having said that, I think one of the strengths, largely from my observation, that women bring to work teams is the ability to exactly rise above these informal networks and get work done in a time efficient manner.
We are any which ways we never have ever felt any such things which we are expressing also in this discussion. Kishori, moving on to you, if given a chance to do something different in your career, what you will choose to do?
Because obviously actuarial is something that I like, and that's why I'm in this profession. But at the same time, if I have opportunity and time and a little place, because the career is different, I would like to be a horticulturist.
Wow.
So I would like to design gardens and choose different plants and beautify the surroundings around you. So I would probably choose that, and it is different. This is totally different profession. Not many people are in it. It's quite creative. If you look at it from that angle, that you want to create something good around you, it will give a very satisfying. It will give you pleasure as well when you are creating it. And plus, of course, there is a hard work involved in it.
Oh, interesting. And another interesting point which you made is that along with the work, I think if we explore the other aspect as well, that will, I think, keep us going and motivated. And that's really, really very nice. And so we have a nutritionist, we have an horticulturist. Wow, as in we have we have really diversified team apart from our professional career, what we have chosen for us. So thank you, Keshori. I'll move to Nandini. What is that one element that is secret to your success professionally, Nandini?
I would say never give up in what you believe in. So that's there. Chip by chip, you push forward, you try and move the needle. You can't give up. In what you just have to go on across all the hurdles, whether personal or professional. You just have to stay at it. So it could translate to passion, like Kirti said, that unless you have passion, you cannot do anything over and above your education, your support system. All those are there. But yes, the key element for me is I can't give up. I just don't know how to do that. If you believe in something, you just go for it.
Anjana, how important do you think that mentorship is for professional career growth for you and why?
Our entire life, we've always had mentorship. When we were children, it was in the form of parents. When we were growing up, it could have been teachers, it could have been some of your seniors you looked up to, or somebody you admired. When you come into the work's life, also you have people who can help you in the way. So when you're looking at mentors, they're people who can guide you, people you can trust, You don't have to worry about what you discuss with them, and they guide you and they help you face challenges. They don't do your work, but they help you be better people, better employees, better human beings, and face challenges and achieve more. A lot of times, the mentor will sort of help you not make the mistake so you don't lose time.
What's your experience on work from home? And that's like open question. Whosoever would want to respond to, feel free. And so would like to know that. Yes, that you have mentioned earlier that yes, we are technologically equipped, and we have already thanked Kirti and the entire IT team that how they are helping us, and to our systems and portals which we have through which when we started working from home, we never had to face. It was a continuation of work. The continuum was maintained. So apart from that, being a woman, especially, and what's your experience and what's your feeling?
I would say probably work from home has probably given an opportunity to work efficiently with house, family, as well as the career. So you just by being there at home, you can also look at the family requirements, as well as you can obviously working from home. So it is like office. So you are working as well as managing your family.
Ever been able to have dinner together, and I'm not talking of lunch, okay? And for me, this work from home has really given us that opportunity, okay, to eat one meal together. And like my daughter said, I don't remember we spending time together, uh, and no fourth person around, except when we were on a holiday, right?
Like time for work and time for family also. So this is, I think, a new normal that most of us must be enjoying.
Sure. So, Jayashree, what was that long lost hobby you have resumed or developed now?
Okay, see, I have not been able to really focus on any hobby as such. Yeah, but I make up at least half an hour in a day to play with my son, which I never used to do all this time or when I worked. So I spend some time with him.
Kalpa, what's your favorite time of the day and why?
That's always end of the day. Once normally when I was working, once I come back home from work, I've changed and I've eaten my food, and then it's my me time. So whether I'm watching something, whether I'm speaking to someone, or just being myself, that's always been the favorite part of my day. And even now, I think, I thought that would change probably over once we are doing the work from home. Once I shut my laptop and I have finished the day, and that time after that, that's always my favorite.
Bhavna, what is the first thing you would do after this lockdown ends?
Honestly, I've settled really well into this new routine. There is nothing. I'm very relaxed for the first time in my adult life, not even married life. I'm actually enjoying my house. I'm seeing things in my house properly. You know, adding to it, etc. Cooking a bit. So I don't know. I guess probably, of course, meet a few people that close family, because all our family is not in Mumbai.
Anjana, how do you think working from home is impacting building informal social circles at work, especially you being in the sales role? That's why I'm asking.
Uh, Actually, for a salesperson, this is extremely relevant because I've had my team literally itching to want to come back to office, because they're like, we're missing the bonding we had, the support we had. You're in office at least for 8 to 10 hours. About 8 hours you're there. So somewhere along the way, you're spending 3 hours, 4 hours with people. You're sharing your, uh, you know, um, work issues, client issues. You bond together to see how you could deliver more, or how you could handle a particular situation. After about 15 days of the initial lockdown, not even 15, 10 days, I actually had, when I used to do one-on-one team meetings, and they're like, we're missing that, lunch together, speaking together. So I started regular Zoom calls. One was in the morning, which was work related. And then one was in the evening, which Subha and myself wouldn't attend, but the team would be there. So you would have all of them, having the same comrade, sharing all of their experiences.
Yeah, got it, got it. Thank you so much, because again, a very different perspective. Like I said, such a diversified group sitting here and sharing thoughts. Wonderful listening, and um, a learning, especially learning from each one of us right now. So with this, Kirti, you being that, like, I think most of us look up to you, and I can certainly say about myself, and I heard also, especially Kalp also mentioned. So here a quick thing which you would like to give advice to a 25-year-old woman, a 35-year-old woman, and a 45-year-old woman. A quick advice to three stages, because
See, 25-year-olds are looking at life differently. Okay, for them everything is instant gratification, but my advice to them is that life is a journey. It is not of one day or 1 hour, right? You need to work hard. Okay, I mean, because of social media, because of the general environment, there is perhaps a misconception that everything comes easy. But I don't think there is any substitute for hard work. And all the women here who have been very successful, and women, men, whoever you look, wherever you look, have always put in hard work. So two things: it's not instant, and you need to put in hard work, without which you will not get what you want. For a 35-year-old woman, I guess she would have been just had children, or maybe thinking of having children, maybe thinking of marriage. Okay, I'm just putting that persona there. Okay, I'm saying the choice is yours. Okay, you may choose a career, you may choose to stay at home with family. The choice is yours. Whatever you choose, okay, be happy with your decision that you have taken. Okay, don't feel sad about what you have not chosen. Don't compare yourself with your friend or colleague who, I mean, you chose to be at home and she decided to go ahead and work. After 2, 3, 4, 5 years, don't compare. Okay, we will, I mean, it could be the other way around. So please don't compare. Choose what you want to do, and be happy there. The other thing is, uh, when you're talking of balance, okay, a work-life balance, it is again not a balance on an everyday basis. Okay, balance is over a period of time. So when you're leaving your child at home, yeah, it is for some time. Okay, and I know it's. I think Anjana said it's the two sides of the coin, and I very much agree with her. There would be days where you will carry some work pressure home, and there would be some days where you would carry some pressures from home into work. Okay, and it's okay, so if it happens on one of these days. By and large, there has to be a balance. Can't be achieved on an everyday basis, otherwise we are stressing ourselves far too much. About to a 45-year-old woman, actually to a 35-year-old also this applies. But I'm saying this unconscious bias that Kalpa talked about, right, which is very much there, and it is there in the minds of women and men both. Okay, and it is because of the way society has evolved over so many years. Okay, I'm suggesting to all of us, and to the 35-year-olds and the 45-year-old women, that if you want to really give equal opportunity to the women, then you have to treat the men in your life differently. Okay, you first need to teach them that the woman needs to be given an equal opportunity. And that is, I think, what, and women as mothers, sisters, friends can do that. I'll just narrate one example here. So in my team, okay, I mean, all of us celebrate birthdays, right? Unfortunately, we are not able to do that because we are working from home. And then the cake is cut. And typically, I mean, the birthday girl, boy cuts the cake, and then somebody else has to cut the cake for the remaining team members, right? And invariably, right, a woman would come forward, invariably. And you can ask my team members, okay? I just hate it. And there is a rule in my team, okay? Birthday cake, only if the birthday is of a girl, she'll cut the cake. Otherwise, the cake has to be cut by a man, a boy, okay? And that's a rule, okay? Because you don't need the career, perhaps, that you worked on, okay? Because you think you have achieved, you don't need the money, but don't give up. Do something which is very, very concrete, which will help you stay relevant.
I would like to now, summarize what we discussed, and please feel free to add whatever you would like to. What are my major takeaways? That we are seeing that careers and family are two sides of the same coin. Invest in your team for you to keep growing. Support family, and family will also give you space for your career. Utilize your time to nurture yourself, your dream. Value time effectively. There are internal highs and lows, and to leave behind children of giving yourself the chance to fly. Most of us express, in fact, all of us express that Kotak supported in our career growth, and how do we feel a family here? And women think that, that, and Kotak gives them, and most of us have this understanding that yes, women have family preferences as well, and we respect that. So, we also said and heard and learned that we should ask for our rights and for equal remuneration for any kind of rights. We should ask for it. We should reassure ourselves that you are doing fine, you're doing good, and you are only acceptable for the person in the mirror, which Bhavna said. So well said, Bhavna. Being at peace with yourself is again very, very important thing, which is expressed. And if you don't have the passion, you can't achieve. Is another thing which was strikingly came out of this session.